Hey guys, this is Dr. Sachin Kumar and I am a senior resident in All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Patna. I passed my FRCR 2A exams around 1.5 months back, I guess, with a score of 178 out of 240. And I am making this video just to share my strategy and how I prepared for this exam. So first of all, let's talk about the format of the exam. So the FRCR 2A exam is the second of the 3 FRCR exams that we have to take in order to complete a degree of FRCR. And the exam is basically divided into 2 days. In India, it happens in Hyderabad. I took the exam in Hyderabad. On each day, there will be 3 hours long paper, and that is a completely online exam. And every paper will have 120 multiple choice questions in which only one option will be correct. Keep in mind that there is no negative marking, so you don't have to worry about that. And total 120 plus 120, 240 questions will be there, and you will be marked in those 240 questions. In my session, the passing score was 144 out of 240, and I was able to secure around 178. So what happens is that in both the papers there are no separated organ systems, in which in the sense that in every paper all the questions will come from all the organ systems. First of all, that, and the total number of modules or organ systems that are covered in this paper is around 6. So you have questions, you have 40 questions each from pediatrics, then GI, GU, thoracic, then you have neuroradiology, and you have musculoskeletal. So in total 40 questions will be present from each of these 6 modules, and completing there were 240 questions. And it won't, in the real time exam, the questions won't be marked like, okay, this module is starting, so all the questions will be from this module. The questions are completely mixed, like one question will come from cardio, then the next question will come from neuro. It is like that, and all the modules are mixed in both the papers. You don't have to worry about that. So now that we have discussed how the exam is scored and how is the pattern of exam, let's now discuss that how did I prepare for it. So let me give a quick background about myself, that I had basically studied for this exam after joining senior residency in AIIMS Patna. That is around I joined my senior residency in April 18 and my exam was on May 15. So I studied basically for around 1.5 months, but take my timeline with a pinch of salt, because I'll be very honest. Last year I had taken EDIR exam and I had passed it. So for EDIR I had studied, and I had studied the same resources for FRCR 2A also. So I was already like, FRCR 2A was like already the revision of the books which I had already studied for EDIR. So maybe few of you guys, if you are preparing for the first time, or if you are taking the books out for the first time, you might take more time. Now what resources I used? So the biggest resource that I used were Crack the Core books. So there are around 2 books in Crack the Core. It is written by an author called Prometheus Lionheart. It's an American textbook. I used the 2020 version. Okay, so Crack the Core is as I told in my how to pass EDIR video also, it's a beautifully written book. It's not a textbook per se, in the sense that, like, multiple people will say that, okay, read Granger, read Sutton, but Sutton and Granger are humongous books which are very difficult to read and retain, and you have to sift through so much data. But in Crack the Core is a very simplified book which is written in a very, very humorous fashion. So first of all, that book is very fun to read. Second is that every line in the Crack the Core is a high yield point, so you don't have to worry about, array, this thing is not important, that thing is not important. Everything that is there in Crack the Core is the bare minimum that you have to know about that topic. So just mug up Crack the Core, just cram the hell out of Crack the Core. That's what I will suggest. That will make your preparation a lot easier. First thing. Now the second thing is that once you are done with crack the core, what I used to do that I'll finish a module of crack the core, and then I'll also do questions currently. So what resources I use for doing questions? So I used a book by the author Lindsay. It's called SBA FRCR 2 SBS. And then I used an online question bank, which I took subscription for. 1 month of subscription cost around 35 pounds. That translated into around 3500 rupees. The name of that question bank is FRCRprep.co.uk. So if you do a Google search, you'll find that that will be the first that will be the first result, and I'll also post the link of that. So FRCR 2A exam prep and Lindsay, these were the two resources I used. But what I found was that the Lindsay book, the questions are actually very difficult, but they are not very much true representative of what the questions were like in my exam. And even FRCR exam prep, it's a good question bank, but I found that it has around 2000 or 1600 questions, but a lot of questions were getting repeated from the same topic. So it's a quite repetitive question bank. But the thing is that these are the only resources that is there in the market for FRCR 2A. Believe me, there is right now in the market, there are no question banks that are present which are real representative of the exam. Real exam is way difficult than what these question banks have. But I'm not telling this to scare you, because the thing is that you have to do these question banks, and you have to completely mug up crack the core 2A. That will, if you do that much, definitely you will pass the exam. But the thing is that when you write that exam, it felt really difficult. One of my juniors, who is a MD from AIMS Delhi, even when both of us had written the exam, after we wrote the exam, we came out of the exam center and we were like, what is this exam? Because it was very difficult for us. But both of us got really good marks. So don't worry about that. So now the thing is that in between those two resources, those two question banks, which one I found better was FRCR 2A exam prep question bank, which is the online one. If you do it completely once, you gain a lot of confidence. I did it once. My average was 67% in that question bank, and I ended up getting more in the real FRCR 2A. So how was the exam for me? The real exam. Basically, FRCR 2A is a lot like, if some of you guys would have taken USMLE, then you will understand. FRCR 2A questions are completely clinical. Okay, so they will give you patient data, they'll give you a lot of clinical information, then they will give you a lot of radiological information, and then they might not even ask you, okay, batao what is the diagnosis. They might ask you something related to the diagnosis. So basically, in a single question, they check what is your clinical thought process. It's a clinical radiology exam. So basically, they check that are you able to correlate the clinical data given to you, and if you are coming to a diagnosis, do you know something else about a diagnosis? The questions are never going to be direct. That's why a thorough reading is a must. That's what I will advise you for FRCR 2A. And don't worry, if you do whatever resources I am telling you, that will be enough. One more resource that I have forgotten, a very brilliant book called Core Radiology. So Core Radiology is a book, again an American textbook, which is written by residents from Harvard University Medical School, radiology resident. So what I did was that Core Radiology is a 1200 pages book. Okay, and I did not read the whole Core Radiology, but the thing is that while I was reading Crack the Core, I would found sometimes I will find that okay, few topics in the Crack the Core are lacking. When you read that book, for everyone, those topics will be different. Okay, for if I am reading Crack the Core and I feel that okay, some things I need to read in detail, then that topic might be different from somebody else's, because everyone has a different weaker or stronger area. So what I found was that in the core radiology textbook, the chapters on arthritis, the non-trauma musculoskeletal system, the neuroradiology, and the neuroradiology section and the breast section, they are given brilliantly. So I went through that also, and I went in addition to the Crack the Core. Again, I'm telling, Crack the Core is a must. You have, that is the bare minimum you have to read. But if you want, you can read core radiology also. Core radiology is a very good textbook. And one more advice that I will give you is that please don't buy those books in like hardbind books, and don't read it like that. If you guys have an iPad or a Samsung notebook or any notepad, like like a tablet, please read on that, because I have found that you can, when you read digitally, when you read the PDFs of those textbooks on specific apps like Notability, or personally I use good notes. So you can add in a lot of data, you can customize that book according to yourself. You can go on internet, you can go to Radiopedia, and you'll find that okay, this information looks good, it can come in exam. So you just take a snapshot and put it into your main textbook. You can do a lot of things which you cannot do with your hardcover books. So please make a habit that you read on your iPads. And what else? Um, I think I have told you guys enough. Uh, if this much you will do, and what should be the timeline? As again I said that for me 1.5 months was enough, but for someone who is doing it for the first time, I guess 2 readings of the Crack the Core is a must. And apart from that, you have to do the question banks, and you should also read, in my opinion, you should also go through core radiology's selected topics. So yeah, easily it can take you guys at around 3 months. I guess for a first time, a 3 months should suffice if you have studied properly in your residency. um, so yeah, uh, this is what I have to say, that even though it's a difficult exam, it is very much doable, and genuinely I thought that I will like borderline pass, or I might even flunk. But when the results came out, I was like really happy that I was able to pass the cutoff by so much difference. So don't worry about it, just work hard, and your hard work will pay off. Thank you, and see you in the next video. If you have any queries, any doubts, please write it in the comment section below, and please hit the like and subscribe button. See ya.